Old Hollywood had really hard rules. Some of them were so harsh that even many actors spoke against them. Studios controlled every aspect of their lives, from their appearances to their personal relationships. These rules dictated how they looked, who they dated, and even how long they could kiss on screen. Breaking these rules often led to severe consequences, including suspension, fines, or the end of their careers. Here are 31 worst rules old Hollywood actors had to follow. Women were not allowed to wear pants. Back in old Hollywood, women weren't allowed to wear pants on set. Studios enforced this rule to keep the traditional image of femininity intact. Katharine Hepburn took a stand against this unfair restriction. When RKO Radio Pictures took away her pants, she refused to comply and walked around the set in her underwear. This bold move highlighted how studios controlled every aspect of an actress's life, leaving them with little personal freedom. The studios benefited by maintaining a consistent and marketable image of their stars, appealing to conservative audiences. Meanwhile, actresses like Hepburn felt powerless, forced to follow strict guidelines that ignored their personal style and comfort. Hepburn's defiance inspired other women in Hollywood to challenge outdated norms. Over time, this resistance helped break down gender barriers, allowing women more freedom in their fashion choices and paving the way for a more progressive Hollywood. Their love lives were often fake. What if I tell you who to date and who to not? This is what was the rule in the old Hollywood. In old Hollywood, actors couldn't live their love lives freely. Studios arranged sham dates to create buzz and promote their stars. Take Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland in Babes in Arms as an example. On screen, they played a sweet couple, but off-screen, Rooney was known as a notorious playboy. This forced romance was a publicity stunt designed to attract audiences and keep the stars in the spotlight. The studios benefited by generating interest and boosting ticket sales, while actors lost control over their personal lives. Celebrities were trapped in manufactured relationships that often ignored their true feelings and desires. Over time, this manipulation strained real relationships and led to public skepticism about Hollywood romances. Eventually, as stars fought for personal autonomy, the industry began to shift, allowing actors more freedom to manage their own public and private lives, paving the way for more genuine connections in the spotlight. You can't be fat. Well, this rule still exists, but not directly but indirectly. You have very slim chances to get a movie if you are fat. Same was the case in old Hollywood. Actresses were forced to maintain impossibly slim figures to fit the idealized image of femininity. Marlene Dietrich was one of the first stars ordered to lose weight, setting a harsh precedent for women in the industry. Young Judy Garland faced even harsher measures. She was force-fed diet pills and pressured to smoke to suppress her appetite. The studios enforced these standards to keep their stars marketable and appealing to audiences, believing that a slender appearance was essential for a successful career. This relentless focus on body image benefited the studios by ensuring their actresses remained icons of beauty, driving ticket sales and fan adoration. However, it left many women feeling trapped and helpless, sacrificing their health and self-esteem for their careers. Over time, the backlash against these oppressive standards sparked a movement towards body positivity, gradually transforming Hollywood's approach to beauty and allowing women more freedom to embrace their natural selves. Child labor was common. Child stars were forced to work nearly every day with barely any rest. In old Hollywood, minimal child labor laws allowed studios to demand that young actors put in the same grueling hours as adults. Take Judy Garland, for example. She worked 6 days a week, enduring up to 18-hour shifts filled with non-stop singing and dancing. To keep up with the relentless pace, Garland was given pep pills to boost her energy and sleeping pills to help her cope with exhaustion. This harsh regime was designed to maximize productivity and ensure that films met tight schedules, benefiting the studios by keeping productions on track and stars in the spotlight. However, the young actors had little say, trapped by contracts that prioritized profit over their well-being. Over time, the toll of such demanding work led to increased awareness and advocacy for better protections for child actors. This shift helped pave the way for stronger labor laws and more humane working conditions in Hollywood, allowing young talents to thrive without sacrificing their health and happiness. Lovers couldn't get too comfortable. Back in the day, even on-screen romance had its limits. The infamous one foot on the floor rule was strictly enforced to ensure that intimate scenes remained tasteful and avoided crossing moral boundaries set by studio censors. This regulation required actors to keep 1 foot grounded, preventing them from appearing too physically involved during romantic moments. Studios implemented this rule to maintain a wholesome image and to appease conservative audiences who demanded propriety in films. The primary beneficiaries were the studios, which could market their movies as family-friendly and avoid potential scandals or backlash. Meanwhile, actors found themselves restricted, unable to fully express the depth of their characters' relationships, leading to performances that felt constrained and unnatural. Over time, as societal attitudes towards romance and intimacy evolved, this rigid rule was relaxed, allowing for more genuine and passionate portrayals. This shift not only enhanced the emotional authenticity of films, but also empowered actors to deliver more compelling and relatable performances, ultimately transforming the landscape of Hollywood romance. Married couples were not allowed to sleep together. In old Hollywood, even real-life marriages couldn't escape the studio's strict guidelines. Take Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, a beloved on-screen and off-screen couple. Despite their genuine love, the motion picture production code required actors portraying married couples to sleep in separate beds. This bizarre rule was designed to uphold moral standards and prevent scandals, ensuring that films remained respectable and appealing to conservative audiences. Studios benefited by maintaining a squeaky clean image, avoiding any potential backlash that could harm their reputation and box office earnings. However, Ball and Arnaz, like many other celebrity couples, had little control over their personal lives being dictated by corporate policies. This separation not only strained their real-life relationship, but also highlighted how studios prioritized image over authenticity. Over time, as societal norms shifted and the demand for more realistic portrayals grew, these outdated rules were abandoned. This change allowed actors greater freedom to reflect their true relationships on screen, leading to more genuine and relatable storytelling in Hollywood. On-screen kisses were heavily regulated. A simple kiss on screen was a big deal. Hollywood's strict censorship rules dictated that on-screen kisses couldn't last longer than 3 seconds to prevent them from appearing too lustful. This regulation was part of a broader effort to maintain moral standards and avoid offending conservative audiences. Studios enforced these limits to ensure their films remained marketable and free from controversy, benefiting from a reputation of respectability. However, actors were left frustrated, unable to fully convey the depth and passion of their characters' relationships. Iconic short lip locks became a hallmark of the era, often leaving romantic scenes feeling rushed and artificial. Over time, as societal attitudes towards romance and intimacy evolved, these rigid restrictions were relaxed. This shift allowed for more genuine and emotionally resonant portrayals of love, enriching storytelling and enabling actors to connect more deeply with their audiences. The transformation marked a significant move towards authenticity in Hollywood's romantic narratives. Diets were often restricted. Maintaining the perfect figure wasn't just a personal choice, it was a studio mandate. In old Hollywood, actresses were placed on strict diets to ensure they remained slender and screen-ready. Marlene Dietrich, for instance, followed a regimented diet of broth, cottage cheese, and toast as dictated by her studio. These dietary restrictions were enforced to uphold the idealized image of female beauty that studios believed would attract audiences and boost box office sales. The beneficiaries were the studios, which could market their stars as epitomes of glamour and elegance. However, this left actresses with little control over their own bodies, often leading to unhealthy eating habits and strained relationships with food. Over time, the relentless pressure for thinness sparked conversations about body image and health, gradually encouraging Hollywood to adopt more balanced and realistic standards for female stars. This shift not only improved the well-being of actresses, but also diversified the portrayal of beauty on the silver screen. They had to sign long-term contracts. In the golden age of Hollywood, actors and actresses were often bound to studios through long-term contracts lasting 4 to 7 years. These agreements gave studios significant control over their talents, determining the roles they played and the films they starred in. While this provided a steady stream of work and financial security for the actors, it also limited their creative freedom and ability to choose projects that truly interested them. For example, an actor signed to MGM had to prioritize the studio's projects over personal career aspirations, making it challenging to explore diverse roles or collaborate with other studios. This arrangement benefited the studios by ensuring loyalty and a consistent pool of talent for their productions. However, it left actors feeling confined and restricted, often leading to frustration and a desire for greater independence. Over time, the decline of the studio system and the rise of independent production empowered actors to negotiate more flexible contracts, allowing for greater creative control and the ability to pursue a wider range of opportunities. Even children knew not to waste the studio's time. Child actors in old Hollywood were expected to uphold the same rigorous standards as their adult counterparts. Shirley Temple, one of the era's brightest young stars, learned early that professionalism was non-negotiable. With minimal child labor laws, studios demanded long hours and unwavering dedication from their youngest talents. Temple emphasized in her book, Child Star, that time is money. Wasted time means wasted money means trouble. This rule ensured that studios could maximize their investment by keeping productions efficient and profitable. While studios benefited from the relentless productivity of child actors, the young stars were deprived of a normal childhood, burdened with intense work schedules and high expectations. Over time, the harsh realities faced by child actors sparked movements advocating for better protections and labor laws, leading to more balanced and supportive environments for young talents in Hollywood. Actors had to use studio assistants. Control extended beyond just the actors themselves. Studios often imposed assistants to oversee every aspect of a star's life. These studio-appointed assistants were responsible for advising, managing schedules, and even spying on the actors to ensure compliance with studio policies. Judy Garland experienced the darker side of this control when she discovered her nanny was betraying her, a revelation that devastated her trust in the system. Studios benefited by having constant oversight, ensuring that actors remained marketable and adhered to their contracts without deviation. However, this meant that celebrities had little privacy or personal freedom, as their every move was monitored and regulated. Over time, the intrusive nature of studio assistants became increasingly unpopular, leading actors to demand more autonomy and control over their personal and professional lives. This shift contributed to the decline of the tightly controlled studio system, paving the way for greater independence and personal agency for Hollywood stars. Even some marriages were orchestrated. In the shadowy corridors of old Hollywood, love was often a scripted affair. Studios meticulously controlled the personal lives of their stars, especially when it came to relationships. LGBTQ actors faced immense pressure to conform to heteronormative standards, leading to forced marriages that concealed their true identities. A notorious example is Rock Hudson, who was compelled to marry his agent's secretary, Phyllis Gates, to maintain his marketable image. This facade protected the studios from scandal and kept their stars in the public's favor, benefiting the corporate machine that thrived on sanitized glamour. However, this control left actors feeling trapped and isolated, unable to live authentically. The emotional toll was immense, often leading to personal anguish and broken relationships. Over time, the courage of stars who eventually came out or defied these constraints contributed to a gradual shift in Hollywood's acceptance of diverse identities, paving the way for greater freedom and authenticity in the industry. The studios had rules against children too. Childhood was a luxury few young stars in old Hollywood could afford. Studios imposed strict rules that forbade actresses from becoming pregnant, enforcing these mandates through harsh penalties. Ava Gardner, a prominent star, revealed in her autobiography that she underwent an abortion to avoid the severe repercussions imposed by MGM, which included hefty penalty clauses for actresses who had children. These regulations ensured that actresses remained available for demanding roles and adhered to the pristine images studios meticulously crafted. The beneficiaries were the studios, which maintained uninterrupted production schedules and consistent star images, maximizing their profits. Meanwhile, young actresses were coerced into making heartbreaking personal sacrifices, often at the expense of their health and happiness. Over time, the oppressive control over actresses' personal lives sparked resistance and advocacy for better rights, leading to more humane treatment and greater autonomy for women in Hollywood. They had to adhere to the production code. Since its inception in 1934, the production code, enforced by the Hays Office, governed the moral compass of Hollywood films. This stringent set of guidelines banned profanity, explicit sexual content, and other themes deemed inappropriate, dictating what could and couldn't be depicted on screen. Studios strictly adhered to these rules to avoid censorship, fines, and public backlash, ensuring their films remained marketable and socially acceptable. The primary beneficiaries were the studios, which could confidently produce content without risking their reputations or box office performance. However, actors and filmmakers faced creative limitations, stifling artistic expression and forcing them to navigate around taboo subjects. This control often led to sanitized and less authentic storytelling, frustrating talented artists yearning for more freedom. Over time, growing public resistance and changing societal values eroded the production code's influence, leading to its eventual abandonment and the rise of more diverse and honest narratives in Hollywood. They couldn't work with other studios while on contract. Being tied to one studio could make or break an actor's career in old Hollywood. Once signed, actors were bound exclusively to their studio, limiting their opportunities and control over their own careers. For instance, Elizabeth Taylor skillfully navigated this constraint by securing loans from Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, to work on more challenging and diverse films like Giant, A Place in the Sun, and Suddenly Last Summer. While studios benefited from having their stars under lock and key, ensuring loyalty and maximizing their investment, actors often felt restricted and unable to explore varied roles freely. This monopolistic control stifled creativity and could hinder an actor's growth. Over time, as stars demanded more freedom and the studio system began to wane, actors gained the ability to work with multiple studios, fostering a more dynamic and versatile Hollywood landscape. Actors couldn't refuse parts, period. In the rigid structure of the studio system, actors had little to no say in the roles they played. Refusing a part was virtually impossible without facing severe consequences. Bette Davis, a powerhouse actress, faced suspension from Warner Brothers for turning down roles, highlighting the absolute control studios had over their talents. This rule ensured that studios could manage their rosters and maintain a steady stream of films, benefiting financially by keeping productions on schedule. However, it left actors feeling powerless, forced to take on roles that might not align with their interests or strengths, sometimes even in projects destined to fail. Over time, as actors fought for greater autonomy and the studio system declined, performers began to have more control over their choices, leading to more fulfilling and critically acclaimed careers. They had to be willing to change their names. A star's name was often seen as part of their marketable brand, and studios took it upon themselves to create the perfect moniker for their talents. Icons like Marilyn Monroe, Rita Hayworth, and Judy Garland all adopted stage names chosen by their studios to enhance their appeal and memorability. For example, MGM held a contest to rename Lucille LeSueur, resulting in the creation of Joan Crawford, a name she reportedly despised. This practice benefited studios by crafting memorable and marketable personas that resonated with audiences, ensuring consistent branding across films. However, it stripped actors of their personal identities, forcing them to adopt names that sometimes felt alien or uncomfortable. As Hollywood evolved, stars began to assert their identities, choosing their own names and fostering more authentic connections with their audiences. Women often had to change their appearances. Old Hollywood demanded that actresses maintain a specific look to fit the idealized image of femininity and glamour. Studios controlled everything from hairstyles to makeup, and sometimes even pushed for drastic changes like plastic surgery to ensure their stars remained picture-perfect. Actresses had to comply with these transformations to stay marketable, often sacrificing their personal style and comfort. For example, some starlets had to dye their hair or undergo physical alterations to meet the studio's standards. This control benefited studios by creating a consistent and appealing image for their stars, attracting audiences and maximizing profits. However, it left women feeling constrained and pressured to conform to unrealistic beauty standards. Over time, as societal views on beauty and individuality shifted, Hollywood began to embrace more diverse and authentic appearances, allowing actresses to express their true selves and breaking free from the rigid expectations of the past. Every actress was given an image to uphold. From the moment they signed on, actresses were sculpted into specific personas to captivate audiences. Women in old Hollywood were typically typecast as the all-American girl next door or the sultry bombshell. Studios meticulously crafted these images, often creating fabricated backstories to enhance their stars' allure. Take Rita Hayworth, whose glamorous image was carefully maintained to embody the quintessential Hollywood starlet. This stringent image control benefited the studios by ensuring consistent and marketable brands that resonated with fans, driving ticket sales and merchandise. However, it left actresses with little room for personal expression or diversity in their roles, forcing them to conform to narrow stereotypes. Over time, the push for more authentic and varied representations led to a gradual breakdown of these rigid image constraints, allowing actresses to explore a wider range of characters and personalities, enriching Hollywood storytelling. Men had to act like gentlemen. Old Hollywood wasn't just restrictive for women. Male actors were also bound by strict behavioral codes. Men were expected to embody the ideals of a gentleman both on and off the screen. Any deviation, such as messy divorces, womanizing behavior, or involvement in illegal activities, could severely damage their careers. Take Clark Gable, whose reputation as the King of Hollywood was meticulously managed to align with his on-screen persona. Studios enforced these standards to maintain a clean and respectable image for their male stars, ensuring they remained marketable to a broad audience. While this upheld the studio's reputation, it limited men's personal freedoms and often forced them to hide their true selves. Over time, as societal norms shifted towards greater acceptance of diverse behaviors and personalities, Hollywood began to relax these stringent expectations, allowing male actors to portray more complex and authentic characters, both on and off the screen. Promoting their films was everything. Promotion was a non-negotiable aspect of an actor's career in old Hollywood. Studios expected their stars to actively promote their films, often orchestrating elaborate publicity stunts to generate buzz. Elizabeth Taylor exemplified this, with her highly publicized marriage to Conrad Hilton strategically timed with the release of Father of the Bride. Funded by MGM, this event was designed to maximize media coverage and attract audiences. While such promotions benefited studios by boosting ticket sales and enhancing star visibility, they placed significant demands on actors to participate in manufactured publicity events, sometimes at the expense of their personal lives. This relentless focus on promotion ensured that films remained in the public eye, but left actors feeling like commodities rather than individuals. As the industry evolved, stars began to seek more control over their public personas, leading to more genuine and self-directed promotional efforts that better balanced personal authenticity with professional obligations. Getting time off was subject to the studio. In the tightly controlled environment of old Hollywood, taking time off was not a simple matter. Studios held the reins on actors' schedules, and personal milestones like marriages could disrupt production. When Judy Garland married composer David Rose in 1941, MGM disapproved and forced her to return to work just 24 hours after the wedding. This denial of personal time underscored the studio's prioritization of work over the well-being of their stars. While this policy ensured that production stayed on schedule, benefiting the studios financially, It left actors with little to no control over their personal lives. The relentless work demands often led to burnout and strained personal relationships. Over time, the growing awareness of the importance of work-life balance led to better labor practices and more respectful treatment of actors' personal needs, fostering a healthier and more sustainable working environment in Hollywood. Tarnishing one's reputation was inexcusable. Maintaining a pristine public image was paramount in old Hollywood, where rumors and scandals could swiftly end careers. Studios went to great lengths to protect their stars, as seen with Clara Bow, a top actress in the 1920s, who lost her contract with Paramount following rumors of promiscuity. This rule ensured that actors remained marketable and that studios avoided any negative publicity that could deter audiences. While this benefited studios by safeguarding their investments and maintaining a positive public image, it placed immense pressure on actors to conform to strict moral standards, often forcing them to hide aspects of their personal lives. The fear of reputation damage left many stars feeling trapped and unable to express their true selves. As societal attitudes towards personal freedom and privacy evolved, Hollywood began to embrace more open and honest representations of its stars, allowing actors to live more authentically without fear of unjust repercussions. Fitness routines were encouraged. Behind the glamorous facade of old Hollywood was a relentless push for physical perfection. Actresses were not only expected to be slim, but also maintain toned physiques through rigorous fitness routines. While it wasn't openly discussed, starlets like Katharine Hepburn embraced sports like tennis and swimming to stay in shape, and Marilyn Monroe was one of the first actresses to incorporate weightlifting into her regimen. Studios encouraged these fitness practices to ensure their stars remained attractive and energetic, aligning with the demanding roles they played. The studios reaped the benefits by showcasing actresses as symbols of vitality and beauty, which kept audiences captivated. However, this expectation placed immense pressure on women to constantly train and look flawless, often at the expense of their personal lives and mental health. Over time, as awareness about the importance of physical and mental well-being grew, Hollywood began to recognize the need for healthier approaches to fitness, allowing actresses to pursue their health goals more sustainably and authentically. Mandatory studio image approval for all public appearances, whether attending a premiere, charity event, or even just being spotted around town, an actor's entire wardrobe and demeanor had to be approved by studio-appointed handlers. If an actor's outfit did not match the image the studio wanted, they could be asked to change or even barred from the event altogether. This rule served the studio's marketing needs, ensuring actors looked perpetually glamorous and on-brand. For performers, it meant a stifling loss of personal style and expression, as every public moment became another installment in the studio's polished narrative. 30th ban on union activities. Many studios strongly discouraged or outright forbade their stars from engaging in any form of labor organization. Actors who voiced support for unions or attempted to negotiate fair working conditions risked being labeled troublemakers and faced threats of blacklisting. This heavy-handed approach allowed studios to avoid collective bargaining and maintain complete control over wages and work hours. While the studios benefited from suppressing worker solidarity and minimizing production costs, actors were left with few options to improve their contracts or fight exploitative labor practices. Over time, the growing push for fair treatment and the eventual rise of influential guilds, like the Screen Actors Guild, SAG, helped dismantle some of the studio's stranglehold. However, in the early days, actors had to tread carefully or risk financial ruin and career stagnation. No public stance on controversial topics. Beyond controlling personal behavior, studios often forbade actors from making any statements about social or political issues. A star's public image had to stay firmly within the acceptable bounds of glamour and entertainment, free from controversy. Even privately held opinions on racial equality, war, or civil rights had to remain hidden, lest they provoke backlash or alienate certain audiences. By preventing stars from speaking out, studios protected their box office returns and avoided public disputes. Meanwhile, actors felt silenced and unable to use their fame to effect meaningful change. Over time, as the studio system weakened and social movements gained momentum, many prominent figures in Hollywood broke these unspoken rules, paving the way for today's more openly activist stars.